Christopher, if you'll raise your right hand, please, so I can swear you in. Only swear that the testimony will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Would you state your name for the record? I just learned that C stands for Christopher. What does J stand for?
Jacob.
So
Christopher Jacob Brands.
I noticed on your shirt it says Spectrum.
Yes, sir.
Is that your employer?
Yes, sir.
And what's the difference in Spectrum and Charter Communications?
Charter is the company I work for, and Spectrum is our brand name.
Okay, so they're one and the same. Spectrum and Charter Communications are joined
Yes,
in some way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kind of services does Spectrum provide?
Internet, voice, and video.
Okay, so when you say voice, that's like a telephone line?
Yes, sir, and also mobile phone.
Oh, okay. And what is video?
Cable TV.
Okay, and what was the other service you said?
Internet.
Internet. So
Yes, sir.
internet, phone, including mobile, and cable TV.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how do you get those services to customers?
Through our fiber optic lines or coax lines.
Okay. And a fiber optic line, is that glass fiber?
Yes, sir.
And then the coaxial line, is that the one that has the little piece of wire sticking out that you screw on the back of your TV?
That's RG6. Yes, there's several different types of coax.
Okay. And how do you get the product or services from Spectrum and Charter into the home or into the business of the customer?
Through our fiber optics or coax lines.
Are they buried under the ground, or are they above ground, or how does that work?
Both.
Okay. And who makes the decision whether they're above ground or buried?
Well, sometimes we don't have aerial poles to even utilize. So in that case, we have to go underground with our facilities. In cases where there is overhead poles, we submit a permit application through TRC. And if we get approved to attach to those poles, then we will utilize the poles.
And what is TRC?
They're an engineering firm that works for Encore, I believe.
Okay. And why do you have to go through TRC and Encore?
Because they own the poles.
Right. And do they have an ability to control who hangs lines on their poles?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any certifications, Mr. Brands?
Can you elaborate on that question, certifications? And
Yeah. What? Let's just start this way. What education do you have?
well, I graduated from Martin High School in 1988, and then I've taken several courses in my 30-year career with Charter+Spectrum, as far as fiber optics, construction, leadership training. I can't name them all in 30 years I've taken.
Sure. And that's kind of what I was hinting at is a 30-year employee of Charter. I'm sure you have a lot of on-the-job training, and you may have some specific certifications in particular areas. And I was just wondering what areas you're certified in.
No, sir. I mean, as far as certifications, it's just I've worked myself up into a manager for this company.
Okay. And were you the construction manager on the day of this? Wasn't a crash. It was the day that this incident happened.
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what day that was?
No, sir. I don't recall the exact date.
I believe I'm looking at the police report, and it says it was March 13th of 2019.
I know it was in March. Yes, sir.
Okay. And about where was this?
This was a highway crossing across I-20 in between Kelly Elliott and Park Springs Drive on I-20.
Right. And I'm going to show you, hopefully, a screen shot. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
And can you see my pointer?
Yes, sir.
Are you the one that took the video?
No, sir.
But you're the one that gave it to the Arlington police?
Yes, sir.
Who took this video that we're going to watch of the situation?
This video was filmed from a cell phone from one of our contractors that was on site.
And what was that person's name?
His name is Justin. I'm not sure his last name.
Who does he work for?
He works for Northeast Services.
Justin, we're not sure of his last name, works for who?
Northeast Services.
Who would know his name?
I can get that. I just don't have his last name. I have him in my cell phone as Justin. I don't have his last name.
I understand. We'll leave a blank in the deposition. I'd like, if you could give me his name and phone number, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now looking at this Google map, and this is a live Google map, so we can zoom it in and out. The video, you see this little square piece of dirt right here, or a tree
Yes.
with some grass?
Yes, sir.
The video was taken from a vehicle that was parked going this way. Would you agree?
Yes, sir. But that where your pointer is there, that's not a tree.
Oh, what is that?
That is the parking lot lights.
Oh, okay. This vehicle was parked right here, however.
Yes, sir. That's where I had my crew staged. That's a safe spot.
And this is at City Chapel.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you saying you had your crew staged. For the jury, let's explain what staging is.
We simply stage our crews on a situation like this, and knowing that the worst circumstance could be what happened.
Right.
And I purposely had everybody get way back away from the service road and get back in that church parking lot behind that light poles, so
Which is
that
behind this light pole or this one?
the one that you had your cursor right there before, not that one.
Okay. You see that little banner? We're going to see in the video that that's a purple welcome banner that says welcome to City Chapel or something.
Okay.
You see that? So
Yes,
you
sir.
had everybody staged behind the light pole.
That's correct.
So you were on scene.
Yes, sir.
And there was an Encore truck with the lights flashing, emergency lights flashing, parked in this area right here. Is that true?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, and I'm just looking at Google. This is called City Chapel. Did they give you permission to stage here in their parking lot?
No, sir.
Okay. But they don't mind. I mean, they didn't complain about it, right?
That is correct.
You chose this area because you believed it to be safe and you knew this was a dangerous circumstance.
That is correct.
Okay. You see this shadow where my cursor is?
Yes, sir.
That's a telephone pole, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And is it located right about here?
That's correct.
And will you tell the jury where the line crosses Interstate 20?
Yes, sir. From that pole that you had your cursor on there at the base of the pole, and it crosses directly across
Okay.
I-20.
I'm going to zoom out.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to point my cursor from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen to another pole over here. And I'm going to ask you if that is where the lines cross Interstate 20.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in your job, you're familiar, are you not, that the law requires not telephone poles, electric lines to be 20 to 22 feet above highways?
No, sir. I'm not. I don't know Encore specs as far as what their spec is to be across the highway.
You're familiar that 18 feet clearance is required for communication and cable television lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're familiar that there's two overpasses. If we zoom out of here, there's an overpass at Kelly Elliott, and there's also an overpass over here at Park Springs, right?
Yes, sir.
And you know that those have to be a certain height.
No, I don't know how high overpasses have to be, sir.
Do you not know how high these are?
No, I don't.
Okay. If I tell you that they're between 14 and 15 feet clearance, does that sound familiar to you?
I'm not up to standards on how high bridges are supposed to be over highways.
Well, let's go at it this way. You saw many trucks on the day of this incident. You saw many trucks, and none of them crashed into the overpass at Kelly Elliott, and none of them crashed into the Park Springs overpass. Is that true?
That's correct.
And we'll look at some of those trucks in the videos that we see here in a minute. But this power line or this cable line or these lines had to be lower than these overpasses. Would you agree with that?
At the time of after the straight line winds hit, yes.
Well, and you don't know anything about straight line winds. You weren't there when there was any straight line winds, were you?
No, sir.
Right. And so it'd be speculation on your part. You just know that there was a need to work on this line. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you know that Encore was on site and Charter+Spectrum was on site.
Yes, sir.
And how did you come into possession of such a video?
I asked Justin for the video.
Do you know why he was videoing?
Yes.
Why was he?
Because of the situation that the lines were in after the storm blew through.
Mm-hmm.
The lines were low.
Right.
And as the 18-wheelers were traveling underneath those low lines, the pressure from the 18-wheelers, being that the lines were so low, they weren't very far over the trucks that were passing. And as each truck kept passing, we could see that those lines kept sagging and sagging. And at one point, they got so low that we knew they were going to get hit. And that's why he was filming.
Where were they?
Oh, well, actually, when I was traveling down I-20 headed to the Benbrook office, that's what got my attention that morning is on the service road. There was a police officer with his flashers on. And then I also saw the Encore bucket truck that was on site. And of course, I was traveling down this same thoroughfare, I-20 road and noticed what had happened. The pole was snapped, laying off in a tree on the same side that we're all staged on. And the only thing that was supporting those lines was that tree. And so it was a very hazardous, dangerous situation. So it prompted me to pull over and call my crews and stage them there in the church parking lot.
Right. So your testimony is that the line is it the south side of the freeway or the north side of the freeway is snapped?
It would be the north side highway pole was snapped.
This pole right here on the north side is the one that was snapped?
Yes, sir. It was laying in those trees right there where your cursor is.
Okay. And so these trees were the only thing supporting the line?
That is correct, sir.
And you had full knowledge of that?
Yes, sir. I was on site.
Encore had full knowledge of that.
I assume so, sir. They were on site.
Well, I mean, you know they were sitting right there in the truck with their flashers going.
Yes, sir.
And to your knowledge, nobody from Charter, nobody from Spectrum, and nobody from Encore called the authorities to tell them this is a really dangerous situation for the traveling public.
All I can do is speak for Charter.
Okay, well, speak for Charter.
We did not.
Okay. And the video that was provided is the video that this Justin from Northeast Services Provided. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we're going to watch this several times because I'm going to slow it down and ask you questions about it. I also have a transcript of what is said that we'll look at in a minute. Now, what we're seeing, do you see this video?
Yes, sir.
Do you see the video again?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now I'm going to, do you see the transcript of the video that I've now put up here?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to fast forward it so we don't have to watch the whole thing again. But around 10 is where people start talking. By the way, who is that in that video right there?
That is my boss's boss, Mr. Jeff Frazier.
Jeff Frazier?
Yes, sir.
Who's your boss?
Juan Zapata.
Was Juan Zapata on site?
No, sir.
So this is a pretty high up man in Charter. He's your boss's boss.
He's a DFE. He's a director of field engineering. Yes, sir.
He's got a cell phone in his hand. Right?
That's correct. That's what it looks like. Yes, sir.
And this is at 8 seconds into this cell phone video. All right. I'm going to stop it after about second 13. So we got about 5 seconds to go here. Did you hear that?
I just heard.
Damn, that looks low. Let me play it for you again. Listen at second 13. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Do you know who that was that said, damn, that looks low?
I can barely hear that, sir. I don't know who that was.
Okay. I'm going to ask the court reporter if it's possible for her to give us an official or to transcribe this. But if I represent to you that that was at between second 13 and 14, damn, that looks low. Do you recognize or do you know who that is talking?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. Let's see what we can put together. At second 8, that's Jeff Frazier, the engineer on site, and he walks off camera, and soon we hear some voices. Let's see. Did you hear it that time?
I did hear it. Yes, sir.
Did you hear what it said?
Yes. Damn, that looks low.
Okay. And there's no question that you knew it was low and everybody on site knew it was low. Is that true?
That's true.
As a matter of fact, you knew it was so dangerous that you staged your people behind this light pole.
That's correct.
Be out of the way. That's an Encore bucket truck right there with the lights flashing. Is that right?
That's correct.
Do you know who the names of the people that were there on behalf of Encore?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, at section at 24 seconds, there's going to be some more talking. Oh! Did you hear? Oh, there it goes.
Yes, sir.
So now let's look at the slow motion version of this video and let's see if we can see what happens. This is before anybody has contacted these lines. And are these the offending lines where my cursor is?
Yes.
And do you see this darker line that kind of makes this little loop like that? It's the dark black line. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what line that is?
Yes, sir.
What line is that?
That's Charter+Spectrum fiber optics.
Okay. And these other lines, what are they?
Those are Encore.
Do you know if this power line was energized?
No, I don't.
Okay. So your men are working on this scene, and no one from Encore has told you that they have de-energized the lines?
We were not working on the scene. We were staged.
No one from Encore told you that these lines were de-energized?
No, sir.
You're not in control of what Encore's doing on the scene there, are you?
No, sir.
They're not in control of what you're doing on the scene. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
That's the billboard that we're going to see on this police video, and I just want to make sure that I get your confirmation of that. Can you see the police in-car video?
I can now. Yes, sir.
You see that billboard sign?
Yes, sir.
And so just past that billboard sign, we're going to see some highline wires. You see them?
I can't see him in that video, sir.
Well, I'm going to get closer and you'll be able to see them. You see them highline wires right there?
Very vaguely. It's very faded out. Now you just cleared that.
I have to be still for a minute and then that'll clear. I don't know how to make, but you can see the highline wires still there.
Yes, vaguely. It's not very clear.
So some of the highline wires are still in the air and some are wrapped around my client's car, right? You see the flatbed over here on the right-hand side?
Yes, sir. I can now.
And these two trucks here may have a problem going under this line if they were on the westbound lane, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I'm going to fast forward just a little bit more. You see, we've already got a police officer now running his lights right underneath the highline wires.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then
westbound traffic is, or eastbound traffic is good. Westbound traffic is
Sir, you're familiar, are you not, that cars were crashed in the eastbound and the westbound lanes as a result of these lines?
Yes, sir.
And do you know that that is my client's car that crashed up against the wall in the median?
I can't see it because of the police officers.
You don't know who those are, do you? Do you know their names? Okay.
No, sir.
Now, that's all it takes to shut down the highway is park a big fire engine in their lane, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And then if you look, there's going to be another one. Now we got two fire trucks parking, blocking I-20. Is that right?
Well, they're blocking that lane. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And now do you see my client's car?
Yes, sir.
Did you go inspect my client's car?
I didn't inspect it. No, sir.
Were you one of the ones that cut all the wires off of her so they could open the doors?
I was out in the median, but it was my contractors who cut the wires off with bolt cutters.
Okay. Is this a true and correct, this video, does it truly and accurately represent what you saw on the day of the scene of March 13th, 2019 when you were there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna stop this video, or I'm gonna show you some more things, but I gotta pull them up. Okay, I'm gonna show you a picture of my client's car. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Do you see where this crashed inside of the door is, about where her left knee would be?
Yes, sir.
And do you know what caused that?
No, sir.
If I represent to you that it was a telephone pole that caused that, would that surprise you?
No, sir.
Can you see my client's vehicle with this telephone pole wrapped around wire?
Yes, sir.
Do you see that piece of pole looks about the same size as the indentation on the driver's side door?
Yes, sir.
Do you know that the speed limit on Interstate 20 is 70 miles an hour?
I don't know that, but
Would it surprise you that she was going 70 miles an hour?
no, sir.
A telephone, do you know how much that weighs approximately?
No, sir.
Would it surprise you that a telephone pole going 70 miles an hour would cause that damage on her driver's side door?
No, sir.
And now this is after your crews have already cut the wires out of the car. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And do you see the engine fluids, oil, and antifreeze that are staining the front part of the car?
Yes, sir.
These highline wires literally sawed into the engine of my client's car. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
When you were at the scene, is this the kind of wire that you saw entangled in my client's car?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury the different kinds of wires that we see here?
Yes, sir.
This, first, let's start with this spaghetti wire looking stuff. Hold on, let me back out a little bit. What is this spaghetti looking stuff?
It's called lashing wire.
What is lashing wire?
Well, basically from pole to pole, there'll be a 1/4 inch or 3/16 strand wire, which is our support wire.
Right.
And then the fiber optics is lashed to that support wire.
Now let me stop you right there. If we look at this wire right here that's black, what is that?
Fiber optics.
So who owns this spaghetti looking wire and this black looking wire?
Charter.
Okay. Now what is this wire? Let me change it. What is this wire here that they're cutting with bolt cutters?
Fiber optics.
Okay. Who owns that?
Charter.
Okay. I'm going to another picture. I thought I had it up. Let me look. All right, I've found it. Now I'm going to show you. Is this going to be number 8, Andy?
Yes.
Can you see that, Mr. Brands?
Yes, sir.
Do you see this uncovered? Well, let me blow it up where you can see it a little better. Do you see this twisted, uncovered line?
Yes, sir.
And it goes all the way up into the grill of my client's car?
Yes, sir.
What kind of line is that?
That's strand.
It's what?
Strand wire.
And what does that do?
That's a support wire.
Is that what is this rat's nest of wire?
Well, it's a strand wire, and the fiber optics is lashed to the strand wire.
Right. And so they're you can see that they're kind of looped and woven together, right?
That's correct.
Who owns that wire?
Charter.
Do you see these bigger wires that are coming off here?
Yes, I see them.
What kind of wires are those?
Looks like a mixture of strand and fiber optics.
Okay, so are any of those electrical wires?
Not that I can tell.
Does that help?
That's better. No, sir, I don't see any electrical wires.
Okay, so all of these wires on this pole are owned by whom?
Charter.